Without Flint Energies, I would not have anywhere near what I would want for these kids.
A production of Flint Energies, your local touchtone energy cooperative. Front Porch Chats brings you along while we discuss interesting events, people in history, programs, and hidden gems located in Central and Southwest Georgia. Grab a glass of iced tea while we chat for a spell. I'm your host, Natalie Bradley, and today I am here with two fabulous ladies. Blair Brown is back with us from my department, and we also have Stephanie Justen here with us, who is a wonderful teacher out in Peach County, and she's going to tell us all about what exactly she does there. So welcome, ladies. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yes. So Stephanie, talk to us about what exactly do you do in Peach County?
I have the best job ever. I am an itinerant teacher, so I travel from school to school, and I provide autism support to 3 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, and our high school. So I am able to see kids from pre-K all the way up until they graduate and move from school to school with them, which is amazing to be able to see them grow and learn. And I have an office at K Road Elementary. They treat me fantastic, but all of my schools are just amazing.
Yes, that sounds like that's so neat because a lot of teachers, they'll see them, like years later, they'll run into
Right.
them and Miss Stephanie or Miss Justin, whatever they, call you. And, but that's so cool that you get to like go with them and see them all the time.
It is, and it's helpful with the parents because I get to build those relationships. And even though a school is new, when they go like from the elementary to middle to high, they know like I'm that standard. I'm going to be there with you. We're still going to have our group sessions and our chats, and I'll be there to work with your teachers. And the parents can, I think, have a little bit of a relief in that, like, okay, somebody knows my kid really
Yeah.
well already.
I can only imagine. I mean, that's exceptionally important with what you do. So,
Absolutely.
all summer, we are talking about our Bright Ideas program that's specifically for our teachers and their creative lesson plans. And we really wanted to highlight Stephanie because she has been a multi Bright Idea winner, multi time, 3 or 4 times. Blair, do you have the official number, or are we just going to say 3 or 4?
I believe it's 3 or 4. I would maybe go for 5.
Oh, okay. All
That
right.
might be.
She's won a lot of times with Bright Ideas. And so we wanted to have Stephanie on here to talk about what are some of the creative things that she's done with this grant money, encourage you if you are a teacher or you have a friend who's a teacher and is talking about, oh, I only wish I could do fill in the blank if I had the money. So real quick, I know we're going to talk about this throughout our episode today, but tell us, the Bright Ideas application is open right now, but where do you even go to apply on our website?
Yeah, so you go to flintenergies.com/bright-ideas, and you'll click on the Start Your Application button there, and then that will redirect you to Kaleidoscope, which is where we host our applications. You'll create your account there, and from there, you'll be able to work on the application. You can save it and come back to it. That way, you're able to make sure that you have checked over grammar and spelling, everything before you're ready to submit.
And I'm going to make sure to put that link directly in the show notes so that you can click right over to it, whether you're listening on your phone or with your computer, so that you don't miss anything. Blair, tell us what dates are also important. When is our early bird and our deadline?
Early bird, what that is if you complete your application and submit it by the beginning of September, you are entered into a drawing to win one of two $250 Visa gift cards. And teachers, you can use that for your classroom or for you, however you would like to, but that's just a token of our appreciation.
And you can see those dates on the website also. So everything that you may be curious about is on there. It has all 17 of our counties listed. There are some counties on there that might surprise you. So please don't assume that you're not in a county that's applicable. If you live anywhere in Central Georgia or the upper part of Southwest Georgia, go on there and check it out and see if your county is eligible. So Stephanie, talk to us about one or more of your Bright Ideas projects.
The most recent one was the grant that I wrote to help our special needs children at Byron Middle School to have a daily living center. They had a room available, but there was no refrigerator, there was no stove, microwave, you name it. So I was able to use the money to purchase items, cookware, different things that would help them learn how to do those daily living skills that they so need to be able to do to be successful as they go into high school, where they will do the same thing, and
Yes.
then to graduate and possibly even have jobs where they can be an assistant and cook and clean and do all of the things to feel like they have a say in the world, and that
Right.
it builds confidence. That's the
Absolutely.
biggest thing.
Have you done very different projects each time that you do a lesson plan?
Absolutely. One of the things that I try to do is make whatever I'm writing about for the grant stand out. Something that's going to catch whoever is reading it and deciding who receives the grant, catch their attention. I try to think outside the box. I don't want to do something mundane like I need copy paper. Because that's not what Bright Ideas is about. It's about doing something a little more different. And
Yes.
so I've always written from the special ed side. I've only done special education. This is my 25th year teaching this year. And
Woo!
so I know, wow, it seems like yesterday that I started. I
We're
have a
all
lot more
babies.
energy.
Yes.
I know.
That's the
I
biggest thing.
know. I know. So I remember one grant was to get items for a classroom at a high school that we needed. And I want to say that we were also setting up like a daily living area, but it was not as structured as the one I did for the middle school. So we did like microwave stand,
Hmm.
refrigerator, like a mini fridge, different things like that. And I believe we even did a Keurig to where we were able to teach the kids how to make coffee and then deliver it to different people in the building.
Oh my gosh, that's
So
great.
they were working on those communication skills that
Yeah.
they needed desperately. So that was
Yes.
really fun. That was an exciting one. And honestly, I don't know if I can remember some of the other ones. It seems like so long ago, but I know it wasn't that long.
Well, that's okay. But also, some of the things that we were talking about before we pressed record today is you shared with us that you basically operate off of grants with what you do.
Absolutely.
So that would explain why a lot of it kind of runs together because you apply to way more than just bright ideas, which is, I think, is just ingenious. And that helps our school systems because we know that they're struggling. Everybody's struggling with making the budgets work.
I don't like to ask people for money. And so I also don't like to complain about not having funds to do what I need to do with these children that have special needs. And so years ago, I took it upon myself. I said, you know what? I'm tired of saying I need this one item that may have even been, inexpensive, but funds are allocated so specifically that there
Uh-huh.
isn't always the money that can go into that pot for what we need. And plus, I like to think again outside the box, and I like to do different activities with the kids that are going to be engaging and just fun and exciting. So I thought, well, I'm going to try writing a grant. And the first one was the Bright Ideas grant, and I got it. And I
Yes.
remember I was in the front office when they came to give me the prize, and there was balloons, and they snapped a picture of me with my mouth wide open, looking crazy. And that was a picture that went in one of them in the magazine.
Yes.
And I was just like, and I had so many people call me and email me
Oh,
and say, "Oh, I saw you in the magazine, and you look so surprised." And I think I probably screamed. I was
yes.
so excited, and it was kind of a rush of adrenaline. I was like, "Oh, I'm going to keep doing this."
Yes.
But I can honestly say that without Flint Energies, I would not have anywhere near what I would want for these kids. And I wish you guys could see my office. It is chocked full of things like bean bags and sensory items, games, anything that I can use to help the kids, to teach them social skills and work on behavior and work on communication and um, interacting with their peers. It's all in this room, and every bit of it was bought with grants.
Okay, so Stephanie, you talked about you've won multiple times. It started with the Bright Ideas grant, but have you won every single time that you have applied?
Unfortunately, no.
I
And
know we all
that's
want to say yes, but yes.
right. That's the hard part about grants is you don't always win. But I'm telling you, once you start that first one and you win, it's like you got to keep going. You have to keep trying. I actually received a letter yesterday stating that I did not receive a grant that I applied for. I'm waiting on two more that I applied for last month. You don't always get it, but you have to keep trying. You have to keep going back and setting aside the time and just do it. Just get
Yes.
in there and try and be creative. Ask for help. I've offered numerous teachers assistance and said, hey, let me help you. Some of them have gotten it, some of them haven't.
Yes, so I'm so glad you said that. So if
Mhm.
you're listening, she offered. So take her up on it. Thank you for being open and honest and transparent about that, because it's hard for everybody to get a no. Or even in our youth leadership program, the children when they come in, most of them will tell you that they're paralyzed, a fear of rejection or failure or fill in the blank that's negative. And we constantly tell them, if you don't put your name in there, you definitely won't get it. So you've got to try,
Mhm.
and no is a part of life. So you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And I'm so glad you said that, because as adults, it's hard too, but we just have to do it. And I think that that's brilliant of you to apply for multiple grants, because that they won't probably all come through. So you've got other streams of revenue that could potentially come and bring you that money that you need. And sometimes I wonder if the same concept that you put in for a grant over here, if it's not awarded, it might work in a different pot of money, because you don't know who's
Yes.
judging. You don't know what they're looking for.
And
Um,
you're absolutely right, because I have done that and I've been able to receive money from, say, a different source, some local, some at the state or national level. And so I just keep trying. And
right.
the summer, I will say what's so great about the Right Ideas Grant is it comes in the summer. And so we have office teachers and we're able to sit down and actually think through, okay, what do I want to do this next year? What do I want to do to be innovative? And what is my I go, what is my bright idea this year when I apply? And I
Yes.
always do it in the summer, and I encourage other people to do that before pre-planning starts,
Yes.
before all the hustle and bustle of that first month of school. Plus, I want to receive the early bird
Right.
gift, which, by the way, I have not received yet, but I will still keep trying
Yes.
because you just never know. One
You
day it
never
might
know.
happen.
Yes, that's right. You have also applied for and been granted money from our foundation. Will you talk about what that's like from a teacher's vantage point? Why do both?
Well, it is more money to
Hmm.
get the ladder. It's a little more complicated. You have to fill out a little more words than you do
Yes.
on the bright ideas. um, and then you have to make copies, you have to send it in. The wait time, might have to wait a little while, then you get a phone call and go in and do an interview with the board of directors
For the
Mhm.
foundation.
for the
Yes.
foundations,
Yes.
right? And that can be a little intimidating to go in
Yes.
and all these people sitting around, but I will tell you, they are so gracious and so kind. And I just remember walking out of that interview and going, they were so encouraging to
Yeah.
me. It was just, even if I don't get this grant, they were so kind. And it
Yes.
was, but that grant is up to $5,000. And the
Hmm.
last time I got received that one, I was able to do something really, truly amazing for our county and something that had not been done before, which is provide sensory kits for each of our six schools.
Yes.
So the items in the elementary schools were very much the same, but for high school, they looked a little different. And this is anything from small fidget items to larger fidget items, noise canceling headphones, things I call like squishies, and
Yes.
those little poppers and things that make noise that some teachers don't really like, but they're just so good for our kids with ADHD and autism. And I wrote it from a perspective of this is not just for kids with autism. These sensory kits are for any child that needs it, whether they have a disability or not. So
Mhm.
the potential of reaching every child in the county versus just a smaller population of just kids that have an individual education plan.
That's fantastic. And it's perfect that, you're on here talking about this and encouraging. And the foundation grant, for those of you who are not aware, that is coming from our Operation Roundup program. So if you are listening to the podcast and you are a Flint member, we highly, highly encourage you to make sure that you're enrolled in the Operation Roundup program. You can actually go to our website, flintenergies.com, and I'm going to link to that specifically so you can go straight through and you can sign yourself up. But you'll be able to make sure that you are enrolled in that program, and all it does is it rounds up your bill to the very next dollar. And I think that when we did a podcast on that just a few months ago, I want to say they said the average is about $8 a year that you're putting towards that. It's never more than 11, but I'm in it, so you know that you're enrolled in it if your bill is zero at the end. Yes, Stephanie's part of it. And Blair's part of it. Woo! So if your bill is, $155 even, then you are in the program. If it's, say, $155.76, you are not in the program. So that will indicate whether it's being rounded up or not. And there's very few programs that you can say $8 to $11 was able to go and fund so many worthy projects and programs and teachers and organizations. And it's great because everything's being vetted, just like the Bright Ideas grants. We're making sure that everything is legitimate and it's going to people that need the help, and they're being transparent with what they're doing. And I think you've actually won the foundation grant twice, right?
I have.
Yeah.
I was in Houston County, working at Houston County High School, and I wanted to do trips with my interrelated kids. So these are the kids that were going for a regular diploma to graduate with a regular graduation certificate.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to get the grant. It paid for the buses, the bus driver, and for us to go to restaurants where they were able to practice ordering. They had to calculate their tip. They had to interact with the waitress if their order was wrong, which I want to say I even asked. Sonny's Barbecue was one place we went. Can you get one of their orders wrong just so that we can practice? It's
That's
so mean.
great.
But I was able to do all of that. And the kids, I didn't have to send home something to the parents saying, hey, I need $15, $20. Flint covered everything. So we could sit back and just focus on those skills that they needed, because a lot of them were about to graduate and had never gone to a restaurant and ordered on
Oh
their own.
gosh,
And I know that
yes.
sounds so simple to most people, but this was huge for a child on the spectrum who maybe didn't even start talking till they were 5,
Right.
and now they're interacting. And so that was just spectacular to watch. And I remember just taking pictures and sitting back like proud mama, watching them using their table manners and practicing all of these skills we had taught in the classroom. Then I moved over to Peach County to start an autism program here, and immediately contacted Flint and was like, I know I just received the grant not too long ago, but since I changed counties, can I apply again so soon? And the answer was yes, go ahead. And that enabled me to do the sensory items and bean bags. Some of the teachers, with money that I had over from providing the sensory kits, I still had some money left over, and I was able to get items for some of our new teachers that they needed to create an environment where when the kids came in, like flexible seating.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our kids with ADHD or autism or just learning disabilities, they need alternative ways to sit. And that might look like, well, it might look like bean bags. It might look
Yeah.
like clipboards. And so I was able to provide that for some new teachers, which I always say I love to spoil teachers. And I'm
Yes.
able to spoil teachers because Flint does does the grants and gives people like me the opportunity to apply and receive it. And then so I'm able to give back.
Yeah. That's
It's
awesome.
like pay it forward. It's just
Mhm.
amazing. I honestly, nobody is paying me to say this, I promise. But I I could not do what I do without Flint's help. I truly could not. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart because I look around this room and I'm like, yeah, that was bought with Flint money. That was bought with Flint money. And I take these things, they don't stay in here. I take these to different places and use them with kids, and I'm able to be a resource to teachers from around the whole county because they're always like, "Oh, Stephanie's going to have it. She'll have that. You name it, Stephanie's got it." So
Well, and Blair and I talk about it a lot when we are out in the community or just amongst ourselves in our department or wherever. Flint is a special place to work because of how much we're able to do through the company for our communities. And I've never seen anything like it. I know that it's a cooperative, an EMC that's a cooperative, and so that's the principle. That's what it's built upon. However, it's still a very special cooperative because if you've seen one cooperative, they say you've seen one cooperative. So they're all different, and Flint is very special, very community minded. And our foundation has a huge heart. And once you're awarded a grant through the foundation, you do have to wait a 2-year waiting period. Bright Ideas, once you win, you wait out the next year, right, Blair? This time, and then you can reapply the following. So trying to make sure that we're spreading that money around. Stephanie, you are just such a bright light in your community, but also all of Central Georgia. And we just thank you for everything that you're continually doing for your kids, and it's making such a huge impact and the ripples that come off of that. And I love that you are a special education teacher in particular, because Blair was talking about we don't get as many applications from our teachers that work in the special education departments, and we would highly recommend that you reach out because we know that you need help as much, if not more, than our other teachers. So we want to help, but you gotta apply. So
yes. And it's not that I want to make sure people understand it's not that our counties are stingy and don't want to give us the funds,
yeah,
but the things that I'm able to buy with the grant money go beyond a textbook. They
yes,
go beyond pencils and paper for children that they need desperately. We are a Title I county. We do have a lot of kids in need, but my things are weighted lap blankets. And most of the time that doesn't fit under the category of what we need for education.
yes,
It
yes,
might be something you might see in an occupational therapy office, but not necessarily in a special ed classroom, but they need it here.
yes.
It's calming, and we have to work on those type things, calming strategies, self-regulation, all of those
Mm-hmm.
lovely words.
Yes.
So so
Yes.
it's amazing and totally off subject, but kind of not. But I do want to say a shout out to not only Flint for just thank you so much for all that you all do, but thank you to Dr. Brown, who's our superintendent in Peach County, for allowing me to come over and start a program over here. And then to be able to look at my boss and say, all I need is a color printer, and I'm gonna get the funds from grants. And Flint has been a huge part of that for me. So
That's a
thank you so much.
that's just
Thank you.
fantastic. Blair, is there anything that you want to say? Do you want to recap our dates and important information and anything else that you want to add about Bright Ideas before we sign off today?
So I just wanted to start and say thank you, Stephanie, for one for being on here today and for sharing everything. But I've been here for 7 years at Flint and involved in the Bright Ideas program. And from the get-go, like you've always been a name that I know is going to apply every single year. And amongst all the many applications we get, I always go and look for your application because you have
Oh,
fantastic ideas. And I know you probably have 4 big checks hanging on your wall right now from the many times we've come in your classroom, but I wanted to share a special memory I have when the Prize Brigade came to your classroom one year, and as excited as you were, your kids just gathered around you, and they were just as excited, and that's what education is about, is instilling that passion and excitement into your kids through the resources you provide and also the passion that you show to them every day. And that's what makes our Bright Ideas teachers so special well is because they pour their ideas into these grants, and we're just so blessed and excited to be able to help make your classroom so exciting for them. So thank you for being such a passionate and champion of education, as we like to call these teachers. For other teachers who are out there listening to this, please, please apply. If you have that one idea that you want to make happen, if you could make anything happen with the funds out there, apply. You never know if you get it. You just have to put that idea out there and try. You never know. We could be showing up at your classroom one day and can make your bright ideas come true. It's like Natalie said, our applications are online now, flintenergies.com/bright-ideas. And from there, you have until the second week in September to make sure you get that application submitted.
Yeah, and I don't know about y'all, but I need to go right now because I've got to go fill out my application.
Yes. Thank you so much, Stephanie. We appreciate you, and we are cheering you on, and I hope that we will get to see you in November with a big fat check and get to see you screaming with your mouth wide open and future you.
If not, then here's what my mama tells me. When I tell her, I say, Mama, I didn't get the Bright Ideas grant this year. She says, then you know what? You celebrate the fact that since you didn't get it, another teacher did.
Absolutely.
And another teacher needed something that maybe you already have.
Yeah.
And so, leave it to your mama to always make you feel better.
That's right. Thank you for all your bright ideas, and we will see you soon.
Absolutely. Thank y'all so much.
If you enjoyed today's podcast, we need your help. Please give us a 5-star review wherever you're listening to this podcast. It really does help us get this information out to more people about what's going on in Central and Southwest Georgia. Also, share this podcast on social media with your friends and family because it helps get more eyes and ears on what we have going on in our fabulous communities. Thank you.